Hello and welcome to Road Adventure Photos. Tonight we're just dealing with thunderstorm after thunderstorm, so I just really ain't going very far. What's the point? It'll just turn out to be a massive rain problem. And I don't like riding in the rain. I do it. I've done it far more than I care to, but why would you if you don't have to? Anyhow, speaking of things you wouldn't do if you didn't have to, would you take your motorcycle to a mechanic if you didn't have to? In my area, if there's a mechanic out here I'd like, I don't know who it might be. Little kitten crossing the road there. Yeah, my area, I've just had no luck. I don't know how to describe it. It's just uncanny bad luck with Honda mechanics. And Harley mechanics, I've had half good luck. Half are okay, but my Harley's getting old, and the place where I've had good luck doesn't want to see an old Harley. Don't know why. You would think they would pride themselves in taking care of the machine for so long, but the money's just not there, I guess. The money's in new machines. So yeah, I wouldn't say I'm not looking forward to learning how to work on them myself, but it's not something that I inherently want to do. It's being done out of necessity. Who knows, maybe being out of necessity it'll turn out better than expected. I don't know. I certainly have a lot of work to do on all fronts. Getting a garage set up for it, getting the know-how. I've attempted to get this going before and it never lifted off the ground. So I've got all the manuals for all my bikes. I can't work on a bike without a manual. We'll see how it goes. I hate going to the internet for help. It's like every question in a forum is often met with like a ratio of about 1 in 5 comments being helpful. I think the most annoying thing to happen is to ask what type of oil should I use. That's funny. That's hilarious. I don't actually worry about what type of oil to use, but anytime I want to get a forum in an uproar, just say, and hey, by the way, which oil should I use for this bike? Oh yeah, there you go. Then you'll see what that forum's made of right there. Because everybody will have a different opinion that they're sure is right. And none of the answers will be helpful. A lot of read the manual. It's a good way to test the forum you're on, though. So far, every one of them I've been on failed. ADV Rider is probably the best, but it also has the most users, so your answers are going to run the gamut. But use whatever oil you'd like. That's my answer to the whole oil situation. The only oil I've ever seen evidence that it doesn't work well is Quaker State. Every engine I've seen torn apart with a whole bunch of paraffin in it, they say Quaker State did that. And paraffin is just like candle wax, and they say, and I believe, that that's what happens with Quaker State oil. It's at least that's how it used to be. Maybe it's different today, I don't know. But other than that, I'd say use anything. It's all pretty good. A lot of your problems that they claim may have been from the oil are actually from the driver being too hard on his engine, and maybe he heated that oil up so bad that it lost its viscosity, and that's actually what made the whole shit and caboodle go bad. Just a little ride through downtown. Maybe see how the east side is doing tonight. This is Newark, Ohio, by the way. So the first problem I ran into, which is what most people run into, is if I'm going to work on a motorcycle, I gotta have clear, clean workspace, because there are so many tiny parts, there are so many aspects of motorcycles that are just already annoying, and if you don't have a clear workspace, you got a problem. And all of us have too much junk in our garage, so clearing space is the biggest challenge. And for me, a whole bunch of stuff in my garage needs to be stored correctly in my basement. So, what do? Well, you gotta clean the basement before you can clean the garage. Right now, I'm staring at a gigantic pile of scrap lumber, wondering if I can make anything out of that that'll be helpful in this whole project. If I can, then I can kill two birds. I can make some workspace and clean an area. It's boring stuff to talk about. Maybe I should motovlog about stuff like this, but it's part of what I do. My gosh. Well, you just have to trust that dogs that size are well trained, I guess. So I'm stopping here to explain. This dog's not a problem. It's this dog, because he's on a scooter and that dog could drag him anywhere it would like. last moto vlog I did, I ran into technical problems. My setup cannot do much more than 55 mile an hour before the wind noise just totally confounds it. And then I have to use noise removal software, and that kills the engine noise. Some people like the engine noise, but yeah, the last video it sounds like I went out and rode a lot and then came home and recorded the audio. But that is not in fact what I did. I used software where when I don't go fast, I don't have to use much editing software for these. It's pretty simple stuff. Now on the east side, you don't need a license for your vehicle. You can just run whatever you'd like. We've seen little dirt bikes and all sorts of stuff. Tags are optional. License is optional. It's a free-for-all. This east side, they do what they want. You don't like it, you can cash them outside. Now, the most frustrating thing working on motorcycles for me is it seems like everything's put together with graham crackers and hardtack candy. Everything snaps on these things, and you have to use finesse and take your time. All sorts of different things to get through working on one. There's the Longenberger basket you can see in the distance. For those who don't know, Longenberger was a very profitable novelty business that ran kind of like Avon. You had parties and people would order all the different fancy baskets, and they were selling for, you know, little tiny ones were $20, big ones were $150. So people would spend a lot of money on those things. They even had a Harley Davidson basket at one point. And it was pretty popular. So people will buy anything. You could buy a similar basket off the Amish for, you know, $15 that would cost $90. But people like that novelty of the Longenberger name, and there were good benefits. People had good paying jobs out of it, and the jobs destroyed their hands with carpal tunnel. But other than that, they paid well and supported a family. But that's all gone now. It's all a thing of the past. And we're left with the basket that was supposed to save the town. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk that maybe the novelty basket wasn't going to save a town? Oh, that's nice. America. I suppose we'll go take a look in town since I don't want to be out here blowing wind all over my setup here and ruining the audio. There's the sheriff out on his patrol. It's kind of nice to go out in the evening and just have a ride around. I mean, I remember when I was a young'un like this, only I was taught to ride on the right side of the road. And you just go out and kind of find things to get into. About this time, I'd be rushing home. When the street lights come on, it was time to be home. So, if I can get my garage space cleaned out on this little step one, I'm going to mount the tire changer to the floor. That's the big goal. I got small goals right now. Just one little step at a time until we got big things going. I don't think I'll ever do like a restore on an old bike. That never interested me much. I just like keeping modern bikes going, which shouldn't be, it's not that big a chore to keep a modern bike rolling along, but it's something that the repair shops just can't bring themselves to do. So, you know, adjusting valves is probably the deepest I've ever got into it, and that went pretty well. I did that on the Shadow. I don't know if I could do that on a Goldwing. I probably could. It's probably just more time consuming. And I'd like to get into some Harley stuff. I've got an old Harley that definitely needs some work. And I don't want to go crazy with, you know, big custom mods to it. I like just stock's fine. You know, I don't need fast. A fast Harley is a matter of how fast you want to spin, because if you hop it up, you're gonna cause problems. It's gonna take life off of that motor. Years ago, there used to be a bar down here called The Friendly. And I always found it an oxymoron because people got shot there a lot. So sometimes you gotta look out for how your bars are named. You know, if it's named after something not so happy, maybe that's a good bar. But if they're just calling it, you know, The Friendly, it definitely may not be. May be false. Highly likely it's false. Must be trash day. Sometimes it's hard to tell. That's an interesting setup. It's like a recumbent tricycle with a add-on dog. The little feet's just a chugging away. Looked like he was having a good time. And that's what matters. I like to see people having a good time. Especially when it's at nobody else's expense. Neat little flower pot guy back there. Little bit of a tongue twister. I like those wild yards. We just passed one there, all wildflowers. Motorcyclists should not be fans of nice lawns unless they're wealthy. You need to save your money for the motorcycle. Well, that's my plans anyhow. I'll probably shut this down about here. I'll keep it on in case something happens on the way home, but I just needed a short moto vlog, and I decided to tell you about these plans. If you set up a shot, let me know. Let me know what your outcome was, and if you got any documentation about doing it, you know, any videos or anything of the sort, let me know. I'll link to them as I try to get this figured out.